Hello, it is me, Jen, and I am back with my Refined February challenge. And I wanted to update you on how it's been going. I said that this month I was going to enter in a little bit more ease, to enjoy being energetic, engaged, and enlivened, but with some ease. And that was what my intention was this whole month. I am usually very much a goal getter. I am on top of it. This girl goes hard. And probably in the past 10 years, aside from being having a torn hamstring so that I couldn't exercise, literally couldn't move. Even then, I still moved with a torn hamstring a lot because I went to Korea during that time, and there was a lot of walking involved, and I just powered through it. So it is a rare day that I do not exercise. And in my Refined February challenge, establishing some habits, I chose doing a meditation, moving with Tanai, according to Samurai Matcha. That is a Japanese way of really slowing down and being intentional about the way you move things. 30 minutes of movement a day, but it was just very ease oriented. 80% vegan. I was trying to go to bed by 9, and there's some mindset work that I'm doing and a couple of other things on my list. Now, I made a habit tracker, and I actually set that up maybe 2 videos back. In the description box, I posted a link to a free download for this tracker that I created. And when I first did it, YouTube said, hey, you have to do all of this stuff to verify you are a real person before you can post a link in your description. I didn't know that. So it's possible that that link didn't work, but I did make one of those, and I will be making one for March. So if you would like to challenge yourself, hold yourself accountable, and try to do that with a sense of ease and find your way forward in a way that makes sense for you, and with small, easy steps to follow, I will provide one of those soon for March, because I have a very fun plan for myself for March. So if you'd like to just join along with me and watch me do my own plan and kind of learn my process for moving life forward and growing in that process, I want to share this with you because I think I'm running into more and more people who are putting undue pressure on themselves. And I have been one of those people. And that's why this February, I really wanted to approach goal setting and habit forming and all of it with more ease, because I have been that hustle culture. I've fallen into that, right? And I've done it for a very long time, and I've become very tired. And I think I shared that I'm reading the book, and this isn't why I did it. I needed to do this. And so I sensed it, but it was confirmed after reading the book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Such a great book. I actually was given it by my son a few years back, and I just picked it up to start reading it. And he had forgotten that he gave it to me. It was for Christmas or something. I share this because I know a lot of you have this drive, and then you're hard on yourself when you don't make it. And because I've been this person, this is why I know. You're really hard on yourself, and you're doing great things, and you are moving the ball forward. So like I've said before, in reading 30 years worth of journals back, I probably said this in another video, but it really bears repeating, especially if you're feeling some anxiety or stress or overwhelm or pressure. You need to hear this and pay attention to what I'm about to say. I remember in reading these journals that I was breaking really hard on myself for the way I handled something. Just internally and mentally, you know, something would happen and it would remind me of this memory from a long time ago, or like a way of being that I had. And I was always judging myself based on the way I behaved, the way I didn't do something, the way I wish I would have done something, how I should have shown up and how I didn't. And I felt disappointed in myself. And I remember just this gnawing feeling of disappointment. And I read back that time frame of my life. And I was isolating. I was remembering, my memory was like taking just a piece of that puzzle and judging and belittling myself based on one piece of the puzzle. But in reading it back, I literally was like, holy cow, how did you even make it through that? Like, I would not sign up to do that again. It was like, no wonder, because you also had this going on and this going on, but you forgot all of that. Your selective memory zoned in and found this one thing, this one little piece of life, and shamed you for it. And I feel like we all do that. And that's really why I think it's important to not buy into the idea that you have to have it all figured out. I went to a leadership training one time and got a button that said, "You don't have to know everything." It is one of the best gifts I've ever got. You don't have to know everything. You don't have a crystal ball. You don't know the future. No one does. No one knows what the market's going to do. No one knows what's coming down the pike. No, you just can't know an unknowable future. And so take a breath, take a beat. Yes, we can create a guideline. Yes, we can create a map. But so often us planners like to sit in the plan, and we like to take comfort in knowing, like, it does this little thing to ease the feeling of chaos. If I have a plan and if I get it all figured out in advance, then I won't run into this problem. Then I'll be able to handle XYZ. Then I'll be ready for this. And we do this, but life has twists and turns. Life has a lot of unknowns. And really, so much of it is learning to ride these bumps, okay? Getting more skilled at keeping your stability in the uncertainties of life. So I was having a conversation with someone who was looking into the future, which is not a bad thing. So this is a weird, nuanced thing, the future and planning on the future for everyone, not young people, for everyone it is. So often we can look at a decision we're going to make or a goal that we have or whatever that is like down the line. We can see it. And that is a great thing, that to be able to go, okay, I can see this thing. People talk about manifesting, whatever you want to call it, having a vision, manifesting, or just knowing that you've got to make a decision, good or bad, or whatever you want to call it. And that has a stop-start to it. You can do that knowing that you're going to have curves, twists, turns, It's not going to be this linear path. Probably. It could be. It could be way easier. It could go a lot faster than you ever anticipated. But there are variables that you have zero control over. So here's what you do. You build character. And the way that you build character is through tiny habits and tiny wins. It's not that you get it all figured out. It's not that you have the perfect plan and you execute it flawlessly and then this big ta-da moment happens. It is the person you're building in the process, and quite often we can use things like exercise, like journaling, like cleaning your house, little tiny habits that you can use to build the muscle so that when you're going on your future plans, when you are building out that vision and you run into an obstacle, instead of it feeling like, oh my gosh, I ruined everything, this is going to destroy me, or oh my gosh, I'm terrified now and I don't want to try anything because I failed this one time. Instead, it turns into, okay, this happened, but I've built this habit of being consistently this. I have these small wins. I'm building momentum towards this. Do I have it all figured out? No. And you won't have it all figured out. You're going to learn along the way. But if you are this person who trusts themselves by building tiny habits that you can follow through, you can show up, you can do something when you don't feel like doing it, you can encourage yourself, cheer yourself on, be your own best friend and cheerleader. When you learn to do these things through the tiny habits, the very daily habits, your capacity grows. Your skills grow. Your character grows. And that person that you're becoming is the one who shows up in these circumstances better able to handle them. Listen, I have, just on a small level, I have work stuff going on right now that is frustrating. Now it's just frustrating. Back 20 years ago, before I had developed a lot of the character things that I've developed, oh, it would have been such drama. I would have quit. I would have had a fit. I've done that. Like, I've done it. So it's just over time, you're learning. So let's say you are considering a new position or you need to move into your own place and you've never done that before, and you start to get overwhelmed by it all and you say, oh my gosh, I have to do this and I have to figure that out. And then pretty soon you're like, oh gosh, I can't take it. And you're like having a donut and sitting on the couch because you just can't even deal. I will give you two little things just to help you through that, because I feel like this is what is needed in this hour, because I keep running into this everywhere I turn. So let me just give you this. One, I learned when I worked in a real estate office. And at that time, the market was hot and people were calling like crazy. And it was like so insanely busy, and trying to keep everything straight felt impossible. And I was managing listings and closings and property management, everything. And the person said, when someone calls, just take a legal pad, which is basically a notebook. If you've never seen what a legal pad is, it's like a long notebook that's yellow. Maybe you have seen them, but you could just use a piece of paper. And if someone calls or something comes up, you just write it down. So literally, let's say you're just going about daily life and there's something that comes up and you're like, oh, I need to call, blah, blah, blah. And I know people use their notes app, but I am a huge fan of paper, Because again, you get on that phone and you check your notes app, and next thing you know, you're scrolling Instagram, or you're watching Reels, or you're on TikTok, or you're buying something off of Amazon. When you have it on paper, pen and paper, just a piece of paper, you can fold it up, put it in your purse or in your pocket or whatever, but like keep it somewhere, put it on your fridge, and just every time something comes up that you think, oh, I need to handle that or I need to do that, write a quick note on that piece of paper. Then when you have a moment, or at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, depending on how your personality is. My husband, night owl city. He can start working at 5 p.m. in the morning, no good. Me, I'm the exact opposite. Get me up at 5 a.m. and I'll have everything done by 10 a.m. And by 5 o'clock, I'm ready for bed. So it all depends on your own rhythm and the way that works for you. So grab your piece of paper and just keep track throughout the day. Oh, I thought I got to get a job. Oh, I got to pay a bill. Oh, I got to call so-and-so. I need to go here and do this. And just write it all down. Get it all figured out. Then start crossing those off little by little, whichever one you feel like you can do the fastest and the easiest. Do that first. I know the thing that says eat the frog, do the hardest one first. Sure, that will work. But I'm talking to the people who are completely overwhelmed with life. Let's get a little bit of progress going. That's what you need. A little bit of progress. So write those things down as they come to you, just so they're out of your head. Because when they're in your head, you're spinning. And when you have them written down in front of you, you can just tackle them one by one. And that will feel good because you're getting momentum. Okay, so that's the first one. All right. The second tip that I have on when you are completely overwhelmed kind of is along those lines. Just do small wins. So you have your list, and coming right along with that is when you're doing the small wins. You don't have to have all of it done in advance. You just need to take one small step every day. One small step. And what will happen is you'll start moving the ball down the field. You'll start inching it down the field consistently because you're committed to taking one small step. It could be the tiniest step ever. You get to choose your own pace. So often I think we have in the back of our head somebody telling us from some video we watched or something that it has to be like this, or it has to be like that, or it doesn't count. I've heard people say, oh, I didn't work out today because it was 30 minutes long, or I've heard people say, I don't have an hour to go to the gym. Okay, walk around your house for 5 minutes. No one said it had to be an hour. No one said it had to be an hour. Except for you. Ultimately, you get to choose. You're not a failure. And that is why on Refined February, one of the things that I was refining out of me is this have to mentality. And I'm going to tell you, like, it runs deep in me. So I typically go to the gym, get on the treadmill, get on the stairs, get on the bike, do cardio, plus I do weights. And I'm at the gym for an hour and a half to 2 hours sometimes. Or if I don't make it to the gym, I'm outside getting 10,000 steps in. That is my normal. It has been my normal for a very long time. I started with walking to my mailbox because that's all I could do. And it grew from there, just little by little over time. Now, this month, I decided to just do this little app. I think it's called Reverse Health or something. And there's like these 15-minute, fairly easy workouts because I wanted it to feel good. I had a theory that if I didn't stress myself out with working out, that I actually would lose weight and feel better. And I think it's working. That's the funny part. And I really needed it. That said, there have been times when I'm like, oh, I just want to sleep. I don't want to get up and do this 15-minute workout or whatever. Every time I do it feels good. So let's talk about the consistency. On my mind part of the equation, the habits that I was establishing, I've been very, very, very faithful at doing that. I do that pretty much daily. On the movement, I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 days out of 26 so far, which is pretty good. I'm happy with it. On the part, there's another piece of this puzzle. This is also very funny. Some people do really well with the big stuff, and it's the tiny little details that get them. This is me. I will do the big stuff, but the small little habits that just take a second are the ones that I tend to put off. And that is the case for me on this. I did have a goal to make 8 videos this month. I think I've made 2, 3, 4. This is my 4th. So I don't have much time and I need to make more of them. I think that's the case. So that is a habit I'm still establishing. And just like before when I told you, I remember trying to work out 10 minutes a day a long time ago, and I went 8 days in a month, and then I built from there. And that is how I ended up being the person who works out all the time, very consistently for a very long time. I'm just deciding now that I just needed to allow myself, and my ego has been screaming at me. The same thing with my hair. I normally wear all of the makeup all of the time, and I would be bleaching my hair, not allowing this gray, spending loads of money getting it done. And I have purposely tried to just feel what it feels like to live in my own skin and enjoy being me. Not that I am anti-dyeing my hair or anti any of that. I'm not. I needed to feel okay regardless, so I practiced this. And it has been interesting to hear when my ego turns up and tries to tell me all kinds of things. I needed just the awareness of what I was saying to myself. And it has been interesting, to say the least. So I share that with you because these were the goals. And I had written down some reflections of things because on the handout that I had in the description box a couple of videos back, I did have like a how did your week go? So the weekly reflections and what do you learn about the process and that sort of thing. I have kept some of those reflections, and I will share a little bit of what I've learned. Making the small hero move feels so much better than being ruled by the puppet master of life. And that's what I'm talking about. Just making these small moves, being the hero for yourself, and saying, I can do it. I can do it. This small move, today's small move. I'm not worried about getting the whole thing done. I'm not worried about losing 60 pounds. I'm not worried about what if this happens 2 years from now? Or how am I going to handle XYZ thing? I remember at a point in our business when we would sit down and have planning meetings, and we would literally write down, okay, this is who's going to work these days at this location, and this was the schedule, and this is how we're going to handle it, and we're going to deliver. And wouldn't you know, so and so would quit, or this person would shift their hours, and it would just blow up in our face within 2 days. So I learned to live very day by day. This from a recovering mega planner. I have literally just built habits for myself, for my mind and for my body, that have helped me become a woman who is able to take the waves and ride them a lot easier than I used to. And you can too. It just comes with teaching yourself to trust yourself, being trustworthy to yourself, being your own biggest friend and ally, an advocate. And that takes some practice, especially if you haven't done it recently. Another lesson that I learned is that I really liked climbing a tower. When I was in San Francisco, I climbed Coit Tower, I believe, and it made me feel alive. So pay attention to those things that make you feel alive and lean into that. If it's making you feel good, like, oh, I feel like this is a good thing for me to do, that's when you need to do that. Also, remember that your atoms held together by the Spirit. That, listen, the power is in the space between all of the atoms and cells that you think that you are, that you identify with. You are a body. You have a soul and a mind. And we all know this, not to be morbid, but if you've ever been around someone who has passed at a funeral and you've observed that, you have this realization that this is not them. This body is just a body. It's just a shell. What's them, what you loved, what you enjoyed about them was their spirit. It's that thing in them that you can't hold. Yes, this is the touchable, tangible piece, but it's that thing inside that's got it all lived up and, that brings the personality, that brings the joy, that speaking spirit that rides between us in conversations and in song and in art, and the stuff that's creative that comes out of us, the inspiration that we have, the love that we feel, the peace, the awe when you go look at the ocean or the mountains. It's that thing living in us, right? And so don't allow yourself to get so attached to the physical where it's only about the physical. Yes, I absolutely believe that this life inside of us that we're carrying around, we have a body that houses that. And so absolutely I want to take care of it, because it is the thing that rides in, that life rides around in, and I want it to feel good. So I'm going to take care of it and treat it well. I don't always do that. And this life, spirit, energy in me led me to, hey, do that with a little more ease, girlfriend. It might feel good. It might serve you. And believe you me, that little mind that wants to come in and say, hey, no, you're going to fall apart. Your world's going to collapse if you don't do all of this stuff. If you don't dye your hair, if you don't exercise and get 10,000 steps every single day, and you're not doing this and you're not doing that, and you're sleeping too much when you could be up grinding, like that person, that mind that has really served me well in the past. It's really been useful when it was useful. It is a new season. It is a new season. And so I'm noticing that the quietness and the ease in this season has allowed me the space to really identify what's important and to really figure out, okay, do I need to be panicking about this? Do I need to be spending my mental energy bank account on this? Do I need to be spending my physical energy on this? Do I need to be spending my money or my time on this? It's given me that clarity to just ease back a little bit, even though that mind wanted to argue so hard with me. And I have had to say, sit down. I've really had to chat a lot with that mind. So if you want, comment down below if you feel like, hey, I need to make this shift in the way I'm showing up. And if you have an inkling of what you might do to show up differently, what kind of challenge you might create for yourself, and what resistance you think will come up. Because I know my resistance was, well, if you let go of this way of being, what do you have? What if you're ugly? What if you get too old? What if you're too fat? What if you're broke? What if this? What if that? And all the panic sets in. The whole world's going to fall apart because you didn't do these things. And I've been testing it, and so far, I've been okay. I've actually felt a lot better. So share your experience or your thoughts down below. Thank you so much if you've made it this far in the video. I know it's a bit of a ramble, but I thought I should give you an update on my refined February progress thus far. It has been enlightening. It has been fun. I've enjoyed it, even in the midst of some circumstances that have challenged me. I think all of the discipline I've developed in the past years have really served me well during this time period. It's helped me to, instead of just dive bomb down into the abyss, it's helped me to sort of do this number, undulate a little bit instead. So, yeah, if you ever have ideas or thoughts that you'd like me to share on, I will say this. I was sharing with someone, there was a time in my life when my credit score was about 500. And I also was severely overdrawn. And this was, back in the 90s when I was first married, and we had cars that barely worked that were given to us, and just really a mess in every aspect of life, like really a mess. So how we've navigated that has been a challenge, but I say that because there are so many of you that are judging yourself and feeling like you're a mess. You could make it. You will make it. Give yourself some credit for the things that you do. That is a big help, is to, instead of beating yourself up, make sure to give yourself credit every single day. Even if you just take a little time to write down what went well, what worked out for you, what you did that was good. And if you want, text it to a friend or comment down below, this is what went well for me. And start focusing on that, and you'll get way more of that instead of this. It's a very dangerous thing, as someone who spent many decades berating herself mentally, internally. It does you no favors. So make sure to every day give yourself credit for the smallest step. It is a win and it counts. Don't let anybody tell you any different. I hope you have a great day. I hope you're encouraged. Thank you.